Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Fluent English Journey, the place where your English grows, one story at a time. Today, the morning that changed everything. Today, I want to tell you a story that begins with a very simple morning, a morning that looked normal, but suddenly changed everything. And as you listen, remember, this is your time to relax, breathe slowly, and enjoy English in a soft and easy way. This is Fluent English Journey, and together, we will learn English like a calm river, slow, clear, and peaceful. So, imagine this scene. It is early morning. The sky is quiet. The air is cool. A soft light slowly enters a small room. Inside this room, a young person named Mira opens her eyes. But today, she wakes up with a strange feeling. Not a bad feeling. Not stress. Not fear. Something different. Something simple. Something gentle. It feels like a small voice inside her is saying, "Today is important. Today you start something new." But she does not know what that means yet. Mira lies in her bed for a moment and listens. She hears the birds outside her window. She hears the soft sound of the ceiling fan. She hears her own breath, calm and steady. And then she thinks, I want to feel healthy. I want to feel strong. I want a better life. These thoughts come slowly, like small waves in her mind. But Mira's life is not perfect. Her days are often busy. She works a lot. She forgets to eat healthy food. She sleeps late. She scrolls on her phone until midnight. She feels tired most of the time. Maybe you understand this feeling. Maybe you also feel this way sometimes. Many people feel like this, like their body is asking for help, but they don't know where to start. And this morning, Mira feels the same. She sits up on her bed and touches her forehead lightly. Her body feels weak. Her eyes feel heavy. Her shoulders feel stiff. She takes a deep breath and says to herself in a soft voice, I need new habits. I need strong daily health habits. But how? How can someone change their life? How can someone build good habits when every day feels so busy, so stressful, so full of problems? Mira does not know. Not yet. But her journey begins today. And your English learning journey begins with her. Now imagine her standing near the window. She pulls the curtain to the side and looks outside. The sunlight becomes brighter. The world looks fresh, almost new. Mira whispers, I want a life that feels like this morning. She does not want a complicated routine. She does not want hard exercise. She does not want big, difficult goals. She wants something simple. Something she can do every day. Something that slowly makes her healthier, stronger, and happier. And maybe this idea is the beginning of your story too. Maybe you want small, simple daily habits that make your life better, easier, and peaceful. Maybe you want habits that help you breathe, move, eat, sleep, and live in a healthier way. If yes, then this story is also your story. Mira walks slowly to the kitchen. She pours a glass of water. But today, for some reason, that glass of water feels important. She drinks it slowly, feeling it move through her body. And suddenly, she thinks, maybe a healthy life begins with something this simple. Have you ever had a moment like that? A moment where something small suddenly feels meaningful? Sometimes a tiny action can open a new door in our mind. And for Mira, that simple glass of water is the beginning of her journey to build strong daily health habits. But she does not know this yet. All she knows is that she wants to change. She wants to grow. She wants to feel alive again. And now, let me speak to you directly. You are here because you also want to grow, not only in health, but also in English. And this story will help you do both at the same time. You will listen, imagine, feel, and learn English naturally, like a slow conversation with a friend. So, Mira continues her morning. She steps outside her house. The air feels cool on her face. She stands still for a moment, takes a deep breath, and says quietly, "I want a better day. I want a better me." This is the first step in building strong daily habits, wanting to change. Not because someone tells you, not because you feel guilty, but because you want to feel better. You want to respect your body. You want to love your life. As she walks down the street, something interesting happens. She notices small things that she usually ignores. The sound of a bicycle passing by. The smell of fresh bread from a nearby shop. The soft laughter of children playing. It feels like the world is talking to her, saying, "Wake up. Slow down. Take care of yourself." And maybe the world is also saying this to you right now. Maybe this is your moment to slow down and breathe. Deep breath in and out. Good. Mira sits on a bench near a small park. She watches people walking or jogging. She sees an old man stretching his arms. She sees a young mother pushing a stroller. She sees a teenager practicing slow breathing. Everyone looks different, but all of them are doing something simple to take care of themselves. Mira whispers to herself, "Maybe I can do that too. Maybe I can start small. Maybe I can build my own daily health habits." She thinks of the things she wants: more energy, better sleep, a calmer mind, a stronger body. But she also thinks of the things that stop her: stress, time, excuses, tiredness. And she wonders, can small habits really change my life? You may also ask this question. And the truth is yes, small habits can change everything. Not in one day, not in 1 week, but slowly, gently, one step at a time. And this is exactly what we will explore in this long story. Simple daily habits that anyone can build, habits that fit even into a busy life, habits that help your body feel good and your mind feel clear. And all of this will help your English listening become stronger too, because you are listening not to difficult words, not to complicated sentences, but to a story told in calm, clear, friendly English. Mira sits on the park bench for a few more minutes. She watches the sunlight move through the leaves. She feels her mind becoming quiet. She feels a soft hope growing inside her. Then she reaches into her bag, takes out a small notebook, and writes one simple sentence. "Today, I begin my new life." She smiles as she closes the notebook. And this is where your journey also begins. The rest of the script will follow Myra's steps, her challenges, her discoveries, and her transformation. You will learn about real habits, water habits, movement habits, food habits, sleep habits, breathing habits, and many more. But you will learn them through a story, through simple English, through slow and natural narration. And now let us move forward on this journey. The first habit: the power of a simple morning. Mira walks back home from the small park with a calm smile on her face. The morning air feels different now. It feels cleaner, brighter, softer. Maybe nothing outside has changed, but something inside her has. Her mind feels open, like a new page in a book. Her heart feels light. Her steps feel slow and peaceful. She is ready to begin her new life, one small habit at a time. When she enters her home, the first thing she notices is the quiet. Her room is simple. The table is clean. Her bed is still slightly messy from the morning. But she does not feel stressed. She feels ready. She sits down on the edge of her bed and whispers, "What is the first habit I can build? Something small. Something easy. Something I can do every day." And as she thinks, she remembers that glass of water she drank earlier. Something about it felt right. Something about it felt fresh and healing. So she says softly, "Maybe my first habit can be water." A simple thought. A simple idea. But simple things can be powerful. She stands up, walks to the kitchen again, and fills another glass. She holds the glass in her hands and looks at the water for a moment. Water is quiet, clear, gentle. It does not rush. It does not fight. It simply gives life. Then Mira takes a slow sip. The water feels cool and clean. It wakes her up in a soft way. As she drinks, she thinks about her life before. She remembers the days she woke up late, drank nothing until afternoon, ate fast food, rushed everywhere, felt tired all day. She thinks, maybe my body is tired because I never give it this simple gift. And slowly, she understands something important. A healthy life does not begin in the gym. A healthy life does not begin with a diet. A healthy life begins with one simple habit you can repeat. And for Mira, that habit is water. She gently places the empty glass on the counter and smiles. "This is my first step," she says quietly. "Every morning, I will drink 1 glass of water. No matter what. Even on busy days. Even on sad days. Even on stressful days. 1 glass of water." In that moment, it becomes real. Not a dream. Not a plan. A habit. She takes her notebook again and writes. Habit 1. Morning water, 1 glass every morning. She draws a small star next to it because this is her beginning. And sometimes the beginning is the hardest part. But she feels strong now, not because she changed her whole life, but because she took one small step that she can keep forever. She sits at her table and watches the sunlight dance across the floor. She feels calm. And as she relaxes, she begins to think about why mornings feel so important. Why do mornings feel like a fresh start? Why do mornings feel like a gentle invitation from life? Maybe mornings are the mind's reset button. Maybe mornings are the body's first message. Maybe mornings are where new habits grow. She closes her eyes and remembers how she used to wake up before. Tired, stressed, rushing, running, checking her phone, forgetting breakfast, forgetting peace. Every day felt like she was chasing something. Every day felt like she was late. Every day felt heavy. But this morning is different. This morning feels soft. This morning feels new. This morning feels like a friend. And she whispers, a new life begins with a new morning. She looks around her home and thinks about what else she can add to her mornings, something small, something gentle, something that makes her feel good inside. She does not want a long morning routine. She does not want a difficult routine. She wants something simple and natural. So she stands up and stretches her arms slowly. Her shoulders rise. Her arms move gently above her head. She breathes in deeply, then breathes out slowly. And suddenly she realizes how stiff her body feels, how tight her muscles are, how long she has ignored her own body. She stretches again, this time even slower. She feels the tension leave her back. She feels her chest open a little. She feels her breath becoming deeper. And she thinks, maybe stretching for 1 minute can be a habit too. She laughs softly at the idea. 1 minute sounds so easy, so simple, so small. But small habits are powerful because they do not scare the mind. They do not create pressure. They do not feel heavy. They feel possible. So she stretches for 1 more minute. She moves her neck slowly. She moves her arms. She lifts her shoulders gently. She bends forward just a little. She is not exercising. She is not pushing. She is simply waking her body up. And when she finishes, she feels warm inside, like her body is saying, "Thank you." She writes again in her notebook. Habit 2. 1 minute morning stretch. 2 habits. 2 very small habits. But 2 habits she can keep. She puts her notebook down and walks to the window again. The neighborhood is now alive. People are walking. Cars are moving. Children are laughing loudly. Life is happening everywhere. But inside her home, she feels peaceful. She thinks of her old mornings full of stress, noise, and hurry. And she feels happy that today is different. You know, sometimes we think that to change our life, we need to do something big. We think we need to wake up early, exercise for 2 hours, meditate for 30 minutes, read books, journal, cook healthy food, and more. And when we think of all these big tasks, our mind becomes tired. We give up before we even start. But Mira is learning something beautiful today. Change begins small. Change begins slow. Change begins with one easy habit, then another. She feels grateful for this discovery. She feels hopeful. She feels strong, even though her habits are tiny. She feels like she is slowly building a new morning, a new day, and a new life. She smiles and whispers to herself, small habits create big change. She looks at the clock. It is still early. She has plenty of time before work. So she sits quietly and breathes. She listens to the sounds around her. She thinks about her life. She thinks about her dreams. She thinks about what she wants from her body, her mind, her future. For the first time in a long time, she feels clear. Not confused. Not lost. Not heavy. Clear. She takes her phone and opens a message to herself. She writes, "Slow mornings. Slow habits. Slow life." Then she sends the message so she can see it later in the day. Suddenly, she hears a soft knock on her door. It is her neighbor, an older woman named Lila. She always comes with a warm smile and kind eyes. Mira opens the door and says, "Good morning," in a cheerful voice. Lila looks surprised. "You look fresh today," she says with a gentle laugh. "Did something good happen?" Mira thinks for a moment. I started something new today." Lila nods softly. "Good habits make good days," she says, then walks down the hall. Mira closes the door and repeats the words slowly. Good habits make good days. She feels those words sink into her heart. She feels them become part of her morning. She sits down again and thinks, if good habits make good days, then maybe my small habits will make my life better. And she smiles because she knows she has already started. Before leaving for work, she drinks one more sip of water. She takes one more soft stretch. She looks around her home and says quietly, "Thank you, morning." She feels ready. She feels strong. She feels calm. And this is the power of the first habit, creating a morning that supports your mind, your body, and your heart. Now, as you listen to this story, maybe you can also think about your own mornings. Do you wake up slowly? Do you drink water? Do you stretch? Do you breathe deeply? Do you take one quiet minute for yourself? Maybe this is your chance to begin small, just like Mira. Because every strong life starts with a strong morning. And every strong morning starts with one simple habit. The second habit, gentle movement for a gentle life. After her calm and peaceful morning, Mira leaves her apartment and begins walking toward the bus stop. The street is busy now. People are hurrying to work. Some ride bicycles. Some hold coffee cups. Some look sleepy. Some look stressed. But Mira walks slowly, with a soft smile on her face, because she feels something different inside her. She feels light, like she is carrying a small secret, the secret of starting her day with new habits. As she walks, she feels the morning sun touching her skin. She listens to the sound of her footsteps. She looks at the small plants growing beside the sidewalk. She feels more connected to the world around her, as if she is noticing things she has ignored for years. And while she walks, a simple thought enters her mind. Walking feels good. It sounds obvious. It sounds simple. But today, Mira feels it more deeply. She feels her legs moving gently. She feels her breath flowing easily. She feels her heart beating softly. She feels alive. And she thinks, maybe walking can also be a habit. Maybe movement can be simple. She stops for a moment near a bakery. The smell of warm bread fills the air. People enter and exit the shop with happy faces. Mira smiles as she watches them. Then she continues walking and says quietly to herself, Maybe one of my habits can be a small walk every day. Even 5 minutes. Even 10 minutes. Her footsteps slow down as she thinks. She remembers the many times she planned to exercise. She remembers joining a gym for 1 week and then quitting. She remembers feeling guilty when she could not follow big exercise routines. She remembers telling herself, I'm too busy. I'm too tired. I'll start next month. But today, things feel different. Today she understands something simple and beautiful. Movement doesn't have to be big to be helpful. Movement can be small, soft, and gentle. It can be natural, like walking. Mira reaches the bus stop, but the bus is late. She looks at the road, looks at the people waiting, then looks at her watch. She thinks for a moment. The distance to her workplace is not too far. Maybe she can walk a little more before the bus comes. So she steps away from the bus stop and begins walking again. Her movement is slow and easy. She does not rush. She does not push. She simply walks, feeling the rhythm of her body. Each step becomes like a small message to herself. I want to take care of me. I want to feel good. I want a gentle life. As she walks, she remembers a story her grandmother used to tell her. Her grandmother used to say, a moving body is a happy body. At that time, Mira did not understand. But now, as she walks, she finally feels the meaning of those words. After a while, she hears someone call her name. She turns back and sees her coworker, a man named Rafi, walking behind her with a surprised look. Hey, Mira. You're walking today? No bus? Mira laughs. I guess I'm trying something new. Just walking a little. Rafi smiles. Walking is good. My doctor says I should walk more too. But I always forget. Mira nods. Me too. But maybe today is different. Rafi walks beside her. Different how? Mira thinks and answers slowly. I started 2 small habits this morning. And now, I feel like moving my body. Not a lot. Just a little. Rafi nods again and says, little things can change a lot. Then he waves goodbye and walks faster toward his office. Mira watches him go and repeats his words softly. Little things can change a lot. These words feel like a warm truth inside her. She continues walking until she reaches a small bridge. Under the bridge, a gentle river flows. She stops and watches the water for a moment. The water moves slowly, softly, with no rush. And suddenly she thinks, this is the kind of movement I want in my life. Gentle. Natural. Soft. She breathes deeply as the cool breeze touches her face. Then she places her hand on the railing of the bridge and whispers, Habit 3, Daily Gentle Movement. She takes her notebook out of her bag, opens it, and writes, Habit 3, Gentle Movement, walking or soft movement every day. She looks at the words and feels proud. She feels like she is slowly building a foundation for her future. A foundation made of simple habits, not big dreams. A foundation made of soft steps, not big jumps. A foundation made of gentle movement, not strict routines. When she arrives at the office, she feels surprisingly good. She feels awake. She feels focused. She feels steady. Her coworkers greet her, and she smiles brighter than usual. She notices how different she feels from the inside, clearer, calmer, lighter. Her friend Hannah sits next to her and says, Mira, you look energetic today. What's happening? Mira laughs gently. Nothing big. Just, I'm trying to take care of myself. Small habits. Hannah smiles. Ah, self-care. I've been trying that too, but I always stop. Mira nods slowly. It's hard when habits are too big. But I'm starting very small. Just water. A 1-minute stretch. And some walking. Hannah looks surprised. Only that? Yes, Mira says softly. Only that. And it works. Mira smiles. It makes me feel peaceful. Hannah nods, thinking, maybe I will try that too. For a moment, the two of them sit quietly at their desks, thinking about life, health, and small habits. Then they begin their work for the day. As the hours pass, Mira notices something interesting. She usually feels tired by afternoon, but today she still feels awake. She usually gets a headache around lunch, but today her head feels clear. She usually feels stressed, but today her body feels calm. She sits back in her chair and thinks, is this because of my habits? Can something so small really make this much difference? She touches her chest lightly. Her breathing feels deeper. Her shoulders feel softer. Her mind feels steady. She smiles, and in her heart, she knows the answer, yes. Small habits make big changes. At lunchtime, she walks outside again. She does not walk far, just around the block. She walks slowly, enjoying the fresh air. She watches some children running and laughing. She watches a shop owner arranging fruits outside. She watches a woman watering her plants. And she thinks movement is everywhere. Life itself is movement. She stops near a small tree and places her hand on her stomach. She breathes in slowly through her nose, then out through her mouth. She feels her body relax. She feels stress leaving her. She feels her mind soften. And she says quietly, I want this feeling every day. After lunch, she returns to her office and continues her work. But today, work does not feel heavy. It feels manageable. It feels calm. And she understands something important. When you take care of your body, your mind also feels better. When evening arrives, Mira steps outside the office again. The sky is turning orange. The air feels warm. People are walking everywhere, home from work, toward the bus stop, to the market, to the park. Mira joins them, walking slowly, enjoying the soft light of the evening. She feels grateful for her body, this body that carries her every day, this body that wants to move, breathe, stretch, live. She thinks about how she ignored her body for so long. She thinks about how she always waited for the right time to exercise. But today she understands. The right time is now, and movement can be gentle. She walks home, feeling the rhythm of her steps. When she arrives, she sits by the window again and watches the sun slowly disappear behind the buildings. The city becomes quiet. The sky becomes soft. And Mira whispers, today was a good day. She opens her notebook again and reads her 3 habits. Morning water. 1-minute stretch. Gentle daily movement. She looks at the list and smiles. It is short. It is simple. It is beautiful. It is hers. She touches the page softly and says, I can do this. I can build a new life with small habits. One day at a time. The night becomes quiet. Lights shine gently outside. Mira closes her notebook, breathes slowly, and feels deep peace inside her heart. And so, her journey continues. The 3rd habit, eating with kindness, not rules. That night, after her peaceful walk home, Mira sits on her small kitchen stool. The lights are warm. The room is quiet. Outside, the city sounds slowly fade away as people return to their homes. Mira places her hands on the table and sighs gently. Today was a good day. A calm day. A soft day. But now, as she sits in her kitchen, another thought begins to enter her mind, a thought about food. She looks at her empty kitchen counter and thinks about her eating habits. Her meals are usually fast and rushed. Sometimes she skips breakfast. Sometimes she eats too much in the evening. Sometimes she eats whatever she finds, just to fill her stomach. She remembers many nights eating cold snacks, fast food, or packaged meals. She remembers feeling heavy afterward. Tired. Slow. Unhappy. And tonight, she whispers, I want to eat better. But I don't want a diet. I want kindness. She leans back and thinks for a moment. What does kindness mean when it comes to food? She asks herself softly. Does it mean eating less? Does it mean eating more vegetables? Does it mean cooking big meals every day? Does it mean strict rules, heavy plans, no freedom? No, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel gentle. That doesn't feel soft. She closes her eyes and breathes slowly. She remembers this morning, her simple glass of water, her 1-minute stretch, her gentle walking. All simple, all easy, all natural. And she thinks, maybe my food habit should also be simple and kind. She opens her refrigerator. Inside, she sees a few vegetables, some bread, some fruit, and a container of leftover food. She feels a little lost. She wants to change, but she does not want to complicate her life. She wants something simple, something that matches her new journey. So she takes an apple from the fridge. Not because apples are healthy, but because it looks fresh and makes her smile. She washes it slowly and takes a bite. The sound is crisp. The taste is sweet. The moment is calm. And suddenly, a quiet idea appears in her mind. Maybe eating with kindness means eating slowly. She chews gently. She breathes. She feels the taste. She feels her body. She feels gratitude. And she realizes something simple and beautiful. She has not eaten slowly in a very long time. She usually eats fast while scrolling on her phone, thinking about work, worrying about tomorrow. She almost never tastes her food. She almost never enjoys the moment. But now, as she sits alone with her apple, she feels fully present. She finishes the apple and smiles. Maybe this can be my next habit, she says. Not a diet. Not strict rules. Just eating slowly with kindness. She takes her notebook and writes. Habit 4. Eat slowly. Eat with kindness. She looks at the words again. They feel soft, just like her new life. No pressure. No stress. No heavy instructions. Just a simple way to connect with her food, her body, and her mind. But before closing the notebook, something else enters her thoughts. She thinks about how often she forgets to listen to her body. She eats when she is stressed. She eats when she is bored. She eats when she feels lonely. But she rarely eats when she is hungry. And she rarely stops when she is full. She remembers a moment last week when she ate a large meal very quickly. She felt uncomfortable afterward. Her stomach hurt. Her body felt heavy. And she said to herself, why do I do this? Tonight, she finally knows the answer. She was not listening. So she writes again in her notebook, below the first line. Listen to your body. Eat when hungry. Stop when comfortable. She does not write stop when full, because she knows full can be confusing. She writes comfortable, because comfort feels soft, peaceful, and kind. She closes the notebook and places it on the table. Her kitchen clock ticks softly. The night becomes darker, but also more peaceful. Mira stands up, opens the window, and lets the cool night air enter the room. She feels the breeze touch her face. She feels her mind relax even more. She whispers, my body deserves kindness. The words feel warm. True. Healing. Then she thinks about her grandmother again. Her grandmother used to say, food is love. Food is life. Eat with respect. At that time, those words sounded old, simple, maybe too traditional. But now, as Mira begins this new journey, she finally understands their meaning. Eating slowly, eating with attention, eating with peace, this is respect. This is kindness. The next morning, Mira wakes up. The sunlight is soft. The air is fresh. She stretches lightly, drinks her glass of water, and breathes gently. She feels ready again. She feels calm. Before going to work, she decides to eat breakfast, something she often skipped before. She opens a small bag of oats, adds warm water, and waits. The oatmeal becomes thick and soft. She adds a little fruit on top. She sits down at her table and smiles. She takes her first bite slowly. She tastes the warm oats, the sweetness of the fruit, the gentle texture. She feels her body waking up in a peaceful way. No rush. No stress. No guilt. Just slow eating. And suddenly, she feels something special. Eating slowly makes her feel safe, present, connected. She feels like she is caring for herself, not trying to control herself. As she finishes her food, she places her spoon down softly and says, "This is kindness." When she arrives at the office, she feels different, calmer, more energized, more balanced. Hannah looks at her and says, "Wow, you look peaceful today." Mira laughs softly. "I ate slowly this morning," she says. Hannah looks confused. "Slowly?" "Yes," Mira says with a warm smile. "Very slowly." Hannah tilts her head. "Why slowly?" "Because I realized something," Mira answers. "My body understands slow. My mind understands slow. My life understands slow. Maybe I don't need strict diets. Maybe I just need kindness." Hannah thinks for a moment. Then she says, "Kindness for the body." I like that. Later in the day, during lunch break, Mira walks to a small cafe. Instead of taking her food quickly and eating while reading emails, she sits near the window. She takes small bites. She chews slowly. She watches people passing by. She listens to the music in the background. She allows herself to enjoy the moment. For the first time in many months, her lunch feels like rest, not work. A man sitting at a nearby table notices her relaxed expression and says, "You're enjoying your food today, huh?" Mira smiles. "Yes, I'm learning to eat slowly." The man laughs kindly. "That's a good habit. My grandmother always told me the same. Slow eating makes life taste better." Mira nods softly. It really does. She finishes her lunch without rushing and leaves the cafe with a warm feeling inside her heart. She touches her stomach lightly and says, "Thank you," as if speaking to her body. In the evening, when she arrives home, Mira cooks a small, simple dinner. Nothing special. Just rice, some vegetables, and a small bowl of soup. She eats quietly, without noise, without distractions. She feels grateful for every bite. She feels grateful for the soft flavor of the soup. She feels grateful for the warm taste of the rice. Eating slowly becomes a meditation, a way to return to herself. She understands now that food is not the enemy. Food is not a test. Food is not a punishment. Food is not a rule. Food is care. Food is connection. Food is peace. She writes in her notebook before sleep, "Eat slowly. Eat with love. Eat with awareness. Eat with peace." She closes the notebook and feels a deep sense of gratitude for this new life she is building, a life made of softness, slowness, and simple habits. And tonight, as she falls asleep, one thought fills her mind gently. My habits are not rules. My habits are kindness. A slow morning walk that changes everything. When I woke up the next morning, something felt different inside me. It was not loud. It was not strong. It was a very soft feeling, like a small light trying to shine. I sat on the edge of my bed and took one slow breath in and one slow breath out. And then I remembered the promise I made to myself the night before. I promised myself that I would build small, simple, healthy habits that would make my days easier, calmer, and happier. I promised I would try, even if I failed sometimes. So I stood up, stretched my arms slowly above my head, and whispered, "Let's begin today." I put on my shoes, stepped outside, and started walking. It was still early. The world felt quiet, like it was still waking up. The fresh morning air touched my face, cool and soft. The sky was a gentle blue, just starting to brighten. I listened to the birds singing above me. I felt the ground under my feet, steady and real. And for the first time in many days, maybe in many weeks, I felt present. I felt alive. I felt connected to myself again. As I walked slowly, I noticed how my breath changed. At first it was a little fast because my body was still waking up. But step by step, my breath became calm and gentle. I didn't walk fast. I didn't try to burn calories. I didn't try to reach a certain number of steps. I walked simply because my body needed it. Because it made me feel good. Because it made me feel human. And as I walked, I suddenly remembered something someone once told me: your body loves movement. It does not need intense movement. It just needs natural movement. I smiled because now I finally understood it. Movement is not a punishment. Movement is not a test. Movement is a gift. It is something we give to our body to say, "Thank you for carrying me through life." I reached a small park near my street. The trees looked soft and warm under the morning light. Children were not out yet. Cars were not loud. Everything felt slow and peaceful. I walked around the little path inside the park. I listened to my footsteps. I listened to my breathing. I listened to my thoughts, but this time they were gentle, not heavy. They were quiet, not stressful. And then something unexpected happened. As I kept walking, I began to notice my body talking to me. Not with words, of course, but with feelings. My shoulders relaxed. My neck felt lighter. My chest opened a little more. My mind, which was usually full of thoughts and noise, suddenly felt like a calm lake. Smooth. Still. Quiet. For a moment, I stopped walking and looked around the park. I felt grateful. Not for anything big. Just grateful for being alive. For being able to walk. For being able to breathe. For having a chance to improve my health slowly, gently, one step at a time. On my way back home, I realized something very important. A slow, simple walk can change your whole day. It can change your energy. It can change your mood. It can change your thoughts. And if you repeat it every day, it can even change your life. The moment I reached home, I felt proud. Proud of myself for waking up. Proud of myself for going outside. Proud of myself for keeping a promise to my body even when nobody was watching, even when it was easy to stay in bed. And that feeling, the feeling of keeping a small promise, became my strength for the rest of the day. I made a cup of warm tea and stood by the window. I looked outside at the brightening sky and whispered, "Yes, this is a good start. This is my new beginning." And in that gentle morning silence, I understood something deep. Healthy habits do not start with big actions. They start with one small choice, one small step, one small breath. And slowly, they build a stronger, happier version of you. As I sipped my tea, I thought about the rest of my day. I felt excited, calm, clear. Because now I knew something important. If I could take one small walk today, I could take one small walk tomorrow. And if I could take a small walk every day, I could build a habit that supports my body, my mind, and my happiness for the rest of my life. The day had just begun, but I already felt stronger. I felt lighter. I felt ready. And it all started with one slow, gentle walk, a walk that lasted only a few minutes, but changed the way I saw my health forever. The power of eating simple, natural food. When I reached home after my gentle morning walk, my body felt calm and light. My mind felt clear, like a clean window that finally lets sunlight in. And for the first time in a long time, I felt a soft hunger, not stress hunger, not emotional hunger, but real, natural hunger. It felt good. It felt peaceful. And I knew this was the perfect moment to choose something healthy for my body. So I walked to the kitchen and opened the fridge, looking for something simple, something fresh, something natural. Inside the fridge, I saw a few fruits. Nothing fancy. Just an apple, a banana, and some leftover vegetables. I took the apple first. I washed it under cold water, feeling the smooth skin under my fingers. And as I lifted it to my mouth and took the first bite, the sound was crisp and clear. The sweetness touched my tongue in a gentle way, and I closed my eyes for a moment because it felt so refreshing, so real, so clean. As I ate the apple slowly, I began to think about how food affects our health. We often think health means big exercise, long workouts, or strict diets. But actually, good health often begins with small choices made many times a day. Simple choices. Natural choices. Choices that feel easy, not heavy. I realized that my body didn't need a complicated breakfast. It didn't need sugar or heavy oil or too much salt. My body just needed something natural that it could understand easily. I remembered something an old teacher once told me. When you eat simple food, your body says thank you. Back then, I laughed because it sounded funny. But today, standing in my kitchen with my apple in my hand, I finally understood. My body was thanking me in its own silent way. It felt lighter. It felt awake. It felt supported. I looked at the vegetables next. There were carrots, a little spinach, and a small piece of pumpkin. Nothing special. Nothing expensive. But they looked colorful and alive. I decided to make a very simple breakfast. Just warm vegetables in a pan with a little water. No oil. No spices. Just natural taste. As the vegetables cooked slowly, they released a soft smell. It was not strong or spicy. It was gentle, almost like the smell of the earth after rain. I sat at the table with my small bowl of warm vegetables. The colors looked calm, orange, green, yellow. I took the first bite, and the taste was mild but real. And as I ate, something beautiful happened. I felt a deep sense of care for myself. Not big, dramatic care. Just quiet care. The kind of care you feel when you give your body exactly what it needs, not more and not less. While eating, I wondered why healthy food sometimes feels difficult. Why do we choose fast food when we know it makes us tired? Why do we eat heavy meals that slow our body down? And then I understood. We often eat with our emotions, not with our needs. We eat because we are tired, stressed, sad, or bored. We eat because it is easy, not because it is right. But today, in this soft morning moment, I was eating with intention. I was eating with awareness. I was eating slowly, feeling each bite. And it made me realize something powerful. Healthy eating is not about strict rules. It is not about counting calories. It is not about removing everything you love. Healthy eating is simply about choosing foods that make your body feel alive, not heavy. I finished my small breakfast and placed the bowl in the sink. My stomach felt comfortable, not full and not empty. My mind felt steady. My body felt grateful. And in that moment, I understood something important. Good health begins with small acts of kindness toward yourself. As I stood by the window again, watching the morning light cover the street, I thought about how easy it is to choose simple, natural foods. One fruit, one vegetable, one cup of warm tea. These small things are enough to bring peace to the body and calm to the mind. They are not expensive. They are not complicated. They are not difficult to prepare. They are just simple, natural gifts, gifts that we often forget to give ourselves. And then I smiled, because I realized something new about healthy habits. They do not begin with big change. They begin with one simple choice: eat something natural today. Eat something that makes your body feel good. Eat something that gives you energy, not stress. I felt strong. I felt ready. I felt open to the rest of the day. And all of this, the clarity, the calm, the light feeling, came from a slow walk and a simple breakfast. And I knew that if I continued this path, little by little, day by day, my health would grow stronger, like a plant receiving fresh water every morning. Resting your mind, the secret health habit most people forget. After finishing my simple, calming breakfast, I walked to the living room and sat on a small chair near the window. The sunlight was soft, not too bright, not too warm. It touched the floor gently, like a quiet invitation to slow down. And in that peaceful moment, I began to think about something we often forget when we talk about health rest. Not sleep alone, but real rest. Mind rest. Heart rest. The kind of rest that helps you breathe again when life feels heavy. I leaned back slowly and closed my eyes for a moment. I was not tired. I was not sleepy. I just wanted to pause. To give my mind a little space. A little silence. A little freedom. And when I closed my eyes, something interesting happened. I noticed how many thoughts were inside my head. Thoughts about yesterday. Thoughts about things I needed to do later. Thoughts about mistakes. Thoughts about worries that didn't even matter. My mind felt busy, almost like a noisy street. And I understood something important. If I wanted to build strong daily health habits, I needed to care for my mind just as much as I cared for my body. I needed to rest not only my feet and muscles, but also my thoughts, my emotions, my energy. So I took one deep breath in. Slowly. Gently. And then I let it out, even more slowly. I did it again. And again. And after a few breaths, I felt the noise inside my head become softer. Not gone. Just softer. Like turning the volume down on a loud radio. As I sat there breathing quietly, I realized how powerful a small moment of rest can be. We often think we need big things to feel better, a long vacation, a weekend break, a whole day off. But sometimes, what we truly need is just one small minute of stillness. One simple breath. One quiet pause. I opened my eyes and looked around the room. Everything felt calm. The chair. The window. The sunlight on the floor. And I felt calm too, not because the world had changed, but because I gave myself permission to stop for a moment. While sitting there, I remembered a time when I used to push myself too much. I worked long hours. I tried to finish everything fast. I tried to be strong every day. But inside, I felt tired, stressed, and overwhelmed. I thought rest was something lazy. I thought rest was something weak people needed. But now, looking back, I can see clearly rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom. Rest is strength. Rest is what keeps your mind healthy, your energy alive, and your body balanced. I took another slow breath and asked myself quietly, how much rest do I give my mind every day? The answer was simple, not enough. Maybe not even a few minutes. Maybe none at all. And I knew I needed to change that. Not because someone told me to. Not because I read it in a book. But because my mind was asking for it. My heart was asking for it. And today, I could finally hear it. I decided to give myself 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes of slow breathing, quiet thoughts, and calm silence. I didn't meditate in a big, complicated way. I didn't try to sit perfectly. I didn't try to empty my mind completely. I just breathed. Softly. Naturally. Comfortably. And those 5 minutes felt like a warm hug from the inside. When I finally stood up, something inside me felt lighter. My steps felt softer. My thoughts felt clearer. My heart felt steady. And I realized something beautiful. The mind needs rest the same way the body needs food, water, and sleep. Without rest, the mind becomes tired, confused, and worried. But with just a few minutes of calm breathing, everything feels different. Everything feels possible again. I walked to the kitchen to wash the dishes from breakfast. And even that simple task felt easier, like it didn't require much effort. Because now my mind was not carrying a heavy load. It was relaxed. It was quiet. It was rested. And then I smiled, because I finally understood one more secret of good health. Healthy habits are not only about action. Healthy habits are also about stillness. You become healthier not only when you move, but also when you pause. You become stronger not only when you work, but also when you rest. You become clearer not only when you think, but also when you breathe. Rest is not a break from health, rest is part of health. That morning, after giving myself those few minutes of silence, I felt ready for the rest of the day. Not rushed, not stressed, not tired, just ready. And I knew that if I wanted to build strong daily health habits, I needed to give my mind these small moments every day. Moments of peace, moments of softness, moments that help me return to myself. The magic of drinking water slowly throughout the day. After giving my mind a short moment of calm, I stood up and walked to the kitchen sink. I filled a glass with clean, clear water. The sound of the water flowing was gentle, almost like a small river. And as I held the glass in my hand, I remembered something important. Water is one of the simplest and strongest habits for our health. But many people forget it. Many people drink too little. Many people drink too fast. Many people drink only when they are very thirsty. I looked at the glass for a moment before taking a sip. And when the cool water touched my tongue and moved down my throat, it felt refreshing, almost like a quiet wake-up call inside my body. I took another small sip. Not fast. Not big. Just slow. Gentle. Present. And I felt my body thank me in its own silent way. As I stood there drinking water slowly, I remembered something a doctor once told me. Your body is like a garden. If you don't water it, nothing grows. And it made sense. When we don't drink enough water, we feel tired. We feel weak. We feel slow. Our skin becomes dry. Our mind becomes foggy. And our energy becomes low. But when we drink enough water, slowly, carefully, throughout the day, everything starts to feel different. I took another sip and thought about how simple this habit is. It doesn't need money. It doesn't need a big plan. It doesn't need strong motivation. All it needs is attention. Just a small bit of attention every hour. A little moment to drink, a little moment to care for your body. I walked to the living room with the glass in my hand. I looked outside the window again. The morning was now brighter, stronger, more awake. People were walking on the street. Children were getting ready for school. The world was moving. And inside me, something was moving too, a soft feeling of care for myself, a feeling that I was slowly building a healthier version of me. I took another sip of water and felt the coolness spread slowly through my body. And then I thought about something important. Most people drink water only when they feel thirsty. But thirst is a late signal. Thirst means the body waited too long. Thirst means the body is already asking for help. So I decided to make a small rule for myself, a simple and easy one. Every hour, I would drink a little water. Not a lot, just a little. Enough to support my body. Enough to keep my energy stable. Enough to help my mind stay calm. I walked to the table, put the glass down, and sat in silence for a moment. I felt the water inside me, refreshing my body, waking up my mind, and relaxing my heart. And then I realized something beautiful. Water is more than a drink. Water is care. Water is kindness. Water is a simple way to tell your body, I am here. I am listening. I will take care of you. As I watched the sunlight move slowly across the floor, I thought about how easy it is to forget water. We work. We study. We talk. We clean. We do so many things. But in all of these moments, our body is working quietly for us. Our heart is beating. Our blood is moving. Our lungs are breathing. And all of this becomes easier when we give our body enough water. I picked up the glass again and drank the last sip. And as I placed it down, I smiled. Because I knew this was one of the simplest, strongest habits I could build. A habit that supports everything: the heart, the brain, the skin, the muscles, the mood, the energy. I stood up and filled the glass again, not because I wanted to drink more immediately, but because I wanted to keep it close. I wanted it to remind me throughout the day, drink slowly, drink gently, drink regularly, drink with awareness. I placed the glass on my desk so that every time I sat down, I would see it. And that small action felt like a promise to myself. A promise to stay hydrated. A promise to stay healthy. A promise to stay connected to my body. And as I walked around the room, doing small tasks, I felt something simple but powerful. Drinking water can be a form of self-love. A soft reminder that your body needs attention. A small action that creates a big difference. Today felt different from other days. Not because of something big, but because of many small steps, a walk, a simple breakfast, a few quiet breaths, a glass of water. These small actions were beginning to connect, beginning to build something strong inside me. A foundation, a routine, a healthy habit pattern that would slowly grow day by day. And in that moment, holding the cool glass of water in my hand, I whispered softly to myself, I can do this. I can build this life. One small habit at a time. Moving your body gently, a simple stretch that changes your day. After placing the glass of water on my desk, I walked to the center of my room and felt my body again. My shoulders were a little tight. My neck felt a little stiff. My lower back felt slightly tired, maybe from sitting too long the day before. And in that quiet moment, I realized something important. My body needed gentle movement, not strong exercise, not heavy workouts, not long training. Just soft, slow movement that wakes the muscles and relaxes the stress inside. I stood tall for a moment and took a slow breath in. My chest lifted softly. My shoulders rose a little. Then I breathed out and let my shoulders drop. That single breath felt like a small release, like letting go of something heavy inside me. So I did it again, even slower this time. And again. And with each breath, I felt my body waking up in a quiet, friendly way. I lifted my arms above my head slowly, reaching toward the ceiling as if I was trying to touch the sky. I didn't stretch hard. I didn't push my body. I just reached gently. And when I reached as high as I could, I felt a soft pull along my sides, my back, and my shoulders. It wasn't painful. It was calming, almost like my body was sighing with relief. As I lowered my arms, I felt the blood move through my body in a warm, comfortable way. My fingers tingled slightly. My chest felt open. My neck felt longer. And I realized something simple but powerful. Our body does not want to stay still all day. It wants movement. It needs movement. Not fast movement. Not strong movement. Just gentle movement that keeps everything alive and active. I turned my head slowly from side to side. First to the left, then to the right. I moved softly, like I was listening to the feeling inside my neck. Then I tilted my head down gently, letting my chin touch my chest. A small stretch moved down the back of my neck, and it felt good. I stayed there for a few seconds, breathing slowly, letting the muscles relax. Then I rolled my shoulders, one circle forward, one circle backward. The small movement released tension I didn't even know I was carrying. And as I continued rolling my shoulders, I realized how much stress sits quietly inside our bodies without us noticing. Stress from thinking too much, from worrying too much, from sitting too long, from holding our breath without meaning to. I bent my body slowly toward the floor, keeping my knees soft and relaxed. I didn't try to touch my toes. I didn't try to push myself. I just let my upper body hang gently like a soft cloth. And in that position, the stretch down the back of my legs felt warm and long. I stayed like that for a little while, breathing slowly, letting gravity help my body relax even more. As I came back up, standing tall again, I felt new energy moving through me. Not loud energy, Not strong energy. Just natural, peaceful energy that made my body feel awake and alive. And I began to understand something deeply. Gentle movement is a form of medicine. It is a way to release tension. It is a way to show love to your body. It is a way to care for yourself without force or pressure. I looked around the room and felt grateful for this simple moment. A few soft stretches, a few deep breaths, a few minutes of slow movement. These tiny actions made my body feel lighter and my mind feel fresher. And I thought to myself, why didn't I do this earlier? Why didn't I give myself these small movements every morning? The answer was simple: I forgot. I forgot that my body needs kindness, not just effort. I forgot that stretching is not a luxury. It is a need. A simple need. I stretched my arms again, this time opening them wide like I was welcoming the day with open hands. I felt my chest open. I felt my breath deepen. I felt my mind clear. And then I laughed softly, because this simple movement made me feel like I was starting the day in the right way, calm, fresh, and ready. I sat down on the floor with my legs crossed and closed my eyes for a moment. I felt my heartbeat. I felt my breath. I felt my body resting naturally after the gentle stretches. And I realized something beautiful. Healthy habits don't need to be big or difficult. They don't need equipment. They don't need a gym. They don't need long hours. Sometimes, all you need is 5 minutes of soft movement to feel better, stronger, calmer, and more connected to your body. As I stood up again, I smiled, because today was becoming a beautiful journey, a journey of small actions, small moments, small decisions that slowly build a healthier life. A slow walk. A simple breakfast. A quiet moment of rest. A glass of water. A gentle stretch. These small things were beginning to create something powerful inside me. And I knew something important now. If I could continue these small habits every day, my body would become stronger, my mind would become clearer, and my life would become calmer. And so, with a peaceful heart and a relaxed body, I whispered softly to myself, I am learning. I am growing. I am changing. And the journey continued.